The last time this building was plastered, 1926. Exactly 1926, 100 years ago when it was plastered. I am attending an art exhibition at Mayfair, as you can see. I have to stay in the queue for over 2 hours. Yes, exactly, over 2 hours. I don't know, I did, but I did anyway. And at last, after over 2 hours, I reached this line where I checked my ticket. These are the most, one of the most commercially successful artists to Bangkok. I'm not sure if pointing is understand his works, but what's more things that I love this sculpture. My Jeff own renovates glass box. That's what I do. Just to take a break from the whole studio. And other people works. Get inspired. Right. I wasn't there too long. This work just to get bring back something. Bring back the module. And of course, now I'm back in the studio, looking at people's works. I believe that I made the same effort, but I feel that I didn't like creating something for nothing. I didn't get much of a recognition like those artists. So before I start to work, of course, my studio isn't ready. So for the time being, I need something to punch. I want to punch something. So I got this tennis ball. Got online. You know, before I get back to work, I need to get this module back. Looking at the people work at the exhibitions, punching this a bit before I get started to paint the wall that left behind in this my studio. You see those stain, the dirt from the old plaster wall. I need to brush this before I put undercoating paper color on it. Of course, the undercoating, but I still need to clean it before it get, messy. So I'm not trying to do too much detail because this work is really dragging for now. So I'm just using the sun, very sharp, specific sandpaper to clean the dirt up, clean the stain, to make sure my undercoating will be, get stick to the wall, plaster wall. So this is what I'm doing before painting with the first undercoating. The undercoating will be just white. I got them from Wix. I already purchased it. I was supposed to get primer, but then this told the guy at the building merchant shop saying that this is old plaster wall, so I recommend this particular painting. So of course, before I paint it, I use a vacuum. You don't have to, but I decided to use a vacuum to suck away the dusts from the dirt. So make sure I clean. Then the next process is wipe it with a sponge. The reason why I wipe it with a sponge with wet warm water is so that the dust from the plaster will be subsided again, back sticky back to its origin rather than just dusty. And at the same time to clean the remaining dirt on the plaster wall. At the same time, and also make it easy for the undercoating to stick to the wall. You can say a bit pedantic, but I learned the lesson I did before. I took it lightly. If I don't have time, ever get extra cash, I would recommend the builder to do it. So the next thing is I use this old towel to cover the floor before I start the painting. Again, this is the undercoating. So to make sure this paint will not be dropping on the wooden floor. This is my brand new brush. Start with this. It is always, I would say for me anyway, I started painting with the corner, not the middle of the wall. I started with the corner. So just to cut it down, not to be too messy. Just scoop this out with this brush that I got. Scoop it out from this. This is 2.5 liter, 2.5 liter. It should be up to 17 square meter on the wall. So I started with this corner first. So if it was a final painting, I would use to make it neat, I would use masking tape to create a kind of a neat line between this painting and the existing. But because it's the undercoating, I use this instead without using any masking tape, because I know for sure this is the first process. I'm going to undercoat it, then I don't need the masking tape for now. Moreover, the existing is already white anyhow, and also using this brush is neat anyway. So I started this around this corner before painting the rest. So I started the entire house with the corner first. This is how I do it, because you know it's a lot easier. I would say the much more methodical and better way of doing painting in the house. Goes around this, you can see the close detail here. This is how I do it, close to the plug. And this is the first phase, the first method, the first process, painting surround the outline of this blank plaster wall. See how I started between skirting board at the corner. Of course, the next step is to fill in paint this blank wall. This is the first layer of undercoat. I use white t-shirts because it's if anything get caught, it won't be obvious, because my shirt is white, the paint is white anyway. That's the trick. What I noticed in this wall is a lot of because this wall plaster wall is an old plaster wall, something from the 1930s or 1920s. It's between the First and the Second World War. There are a lot of notes that I found after peeled off this wallpaper. It's not bad for do it myself job. I'm not a professional painter, I'm not a professional decorator. I do design. I design things, draw things, but as I said in my previous video, it's not worth it to hire a professional person to do this job because it's too small. And besides, I like to try it myself to learn. It's not bad for now. You see how I paint this, so I don't need to be too careful when I reach the corner of this wall, because I already painted it in the first process. You can see my rolling brush is just there, so make my works a lot easier and tidier. This first wall is almost done.
There's a history here.
Now this is the next one. Look at this.
The last time this building was plastered, 1926. Then someone wrote something here, papered. Someone put wallpaper on it. 1977. Exactly 1926, 100 years ago, when it was plastered. And 1977 when it was wallpapered. Exactly 100 years from 1926, today is 2026. I'm going to paint over this plaster instead of wallpaper. But anyway, a bit of history, which I think worthwhile record and sharing.
I'm sorry I have to paint over it because it looks too messy. Goodbye history note. 1926 is gone. But at least I recorded it. Exactly 100 years this plaster wall. Exactly 100 years after it was plastered. Now, no more wallpaper. I just paint over it. This plaster was doing really great considering it's over 100 years. It's 100 years. It was February 1926. Now it's March 2026. So over 100 years. So anyway, this is this.